Hey, how you doing? You know that trope of when a villain is dying and before actually doing so they kill someone with them? So... Weird how Doom isn't the villain in that scenario. Anyway, it wasn't a long time ago, I'm sure you remember back in the last day of 2020, the internet was bombarded with news of MF Doom's passing, which took everyone by surprise, and ruined the last day of the year to everybody, myself included. I have never actually listened to Doom's music, but I was always well aware of how influential he was to the rap scene. So even if I wasn't a fan, I was still really heartbroken to know that one of the biggest legends of rap wouldn't keep doing his thing. At least not in this plan of life. And I wanted to tribute him. But how could I do that in an effective way if I never heard his stuff before? Well, I thought about it, but I didn't get any ideas, so I just left that behind. But recently, I thought, what if I made a TAFT about him? So that's what I'm doing today. I'm checking out MF Doom's music for the first time. More specifically, his collaboration with Madlib, Madvillainy. I was in doubt between these three albums to be the topic of this video, but in the end, I've decided to go with this one, not only because it's incredibly loved, but also because I've seen many people say that this is a great starting point. So yeah, so it's finally time to check out Madvillainy. Needless to say, I have really high hopes for this. Let's do it!
Art, I don't want to alarm you, but there may be MF Doom in the house!
Okay, so to make things clear, I like this album, but it's not one of my all-time favorites, at least not for now, and I will explain why I feel this way. But before that, God, I must praise Doom's lyricism. I'm pretty sure this is old news to everybody, but I'm shocked by how much detail he puts into every single line he's rapping, every single word, every single letter here matters. And also, his English vocabulary here is massive. Which, even though it's a good thing, it makes the sucker here absorb pretty much nothing of what's being said. Even though I studied English my whole life, my only contact with English in my routine is in YouTube, so my vocabulary is pretty limited, so understanding the message of these songs to me is more difficult than that one phrase from the SNES Lion King game, even with the help of Genius, and I believe this severely affected my experience listening to his music. But that's more my fault than his, so for that reason, I'm gonna just scrape the surface of the lyrics in this review, and talk about what I understood of those, and give an extra focus on the beats and production. And talking about them, my boy, they are awesome! In many occasions, I felt like I was in an old school comic book store while listening to this album. And in an overall, the whole flair this album has is unlike anything I've heard before. The songs are on average very short, most of them don't have choruses, but still, the beats are so fine, and Doom's flow is so pleasant to hear that the choruses aren't missed in the slightest. However, even though I understand the acclaim of this record, at least, as of right now, this album has some misses to me. I'm talking on a personal level. The public has already decided this album is a 10 out of 10, so who am I to disagree? But yeah, maybe in the future, as this album grows on me, as I keep feeding it, baiting it, taking it to school and... what am I saying? Anyway, you get my point. Now it's time to show each track in here some love. Here is the track by track. This is the intro of the album, and it's an intro done right. I mean, it has everything it needs to have. A sick beat, a cool dialogue setting the mood for the record, and most importantly, replay value. While it's not my favorite album intro ever, it surely gets the job done way more than most intros around. There isn't much to say here, just I like it. Yeah.
Please.
Well, I gotta be honest, right? This is actually one of my least favorite songs on the record. I'm not a huge fan of accordions, and considering it's the main instrument of the entire track, and it's literally the goddamn title of the song, I think it's imagined that you know why I'm not that big on this one. At least I gotta give credit to Doom's impeccable flow, and the lyrics that almost made my brain melt. I'm still not totally sure of what this song is about. I think it's simply Doom boasting himself, but I feel like there's more to it. I'd love to hear what you guys think or are sure about, so leave a comment talking about it, please. Well, first things first, the intro. Rainbow Dash did not like this. I am so sorry. Anyway, to the song. The Frank Zappa sampled intro was the first moment of the record that made me say, whoa. And I was kinda expecting the rest of this song to build up from this sample, which didn't happen, so it made me a little disappointed. But hey, I still like it. It's just not one of my favorite moments of the record. My credits here are virtually the same as the previous track, so I won't spend much time here. I know, my reception of this album so far has been pretty lukewarm. But don't worry, this changes now! To me, Bistro is the true beginning of this record, the point where things really get interesting to me. The previous 3 tracks were more like the entrance lounge of the building of this record. I know it's technically an interlude, but my boy, I wish all interludes were that groovy. The beat is fantastic, and if Madvillain Bistro someday actually open, I'll be the first in line. Positive highlight to this one. Also, finally a song that I didn't almost die trying to understand the lyrics. Yay! In my view, this is one of the most normal songs of the album. Don't get me wrong. A normal song to the standards of this album is at least 2 stars above many good rap songs. But even with that, I'm not sure if there is much to say here that isn't possible to say in other tracks. Like the beat's very head-bopping, Doom's flow is well, Doom's flow. And I think the only differentiation this track has is that since it has a feature guest, you can put in perspective how Doom's verses look like in comparison to the verses of any other rapper. So yeah, not a positive highlight, but still, a great song. This song deserves the Snoop Dogg seal of approval, because, of course, it's about the devil's lettuce. Needless to say, this song is one of the quirkiest moments of the record, and the beat really adds to it, and it gets me asking myself, how must it feel to listen to the song high? Certainly, it must feel wild. Even sober, I still really like this track, so wow. Right, so according to my research, this song was originally intended to have lyrics, but Doom liked the beat so much, he opted to make an instrumental cut. I can't really say wise choice like I wanted to, but at least I can say he was sensible. Yes, that beat is fantastic, definitely worthy of listening by itself, but I, personally, am curious to imagine how this beat would feel like if there was Doom rapping over it. Of course, I still love the song, and the fact that it's instrumental adds a nice contrast to the whole thing. But man, imagine that. Going to this album, I wasn't expecting to hear a song where Doom would sing instead of rap, but to my surprise, that was great. It's like expecting a new cell phone for Christmas, but instead getting a Nintendo Switch. This song. It is magical. Doom singing surprisingly catchy, and the jazzy beat is one of the best of the record. This is easily one of the most interesting cuts of the album, and I can feel the positive highlights aura exhaling from this one. So nothing could be more fair, right? Boom! There we go. Oh hey, look! Another positive highlight. Listen to this beat, man. When I listen to it, I imagine myself in the backseat of a cab, just looking at the view of the city at evening. I love when beats give me that sensation. And it's especially complemented by the lyrics, that while I didn't get every single line, I got the overall message, and it's cool to see a more serious side of Doom. One of the instrumental tracks of this record, this is easily my least favorite. In fact, it's my least favorite song of the entire album. Even though I really like the video game samples, I just don't like the overall structure of the song. And it's very unlikely that I will return to it in the future. Yeah, I like the song. But I personally don't see much that stands out in here. Well, except for the Heine line. That line made me burst a little. Jesus Christ, this song is intense. The beat creates this extreme sense of urgency, and combined with Madlib's delivery, especially the one as Quasimodo, where he's rapping at this very centered pace, this becomes a song that is anxiety-inducing, almost paranoid. And despite not being one of my absolute favorite songs of this record, I'm gonna give this one a positive highlight, just because it's kind of a storm of emotions, and I really respect that, and also because I really like the closing line. This is the one. Yep, guys, we found it. We hit jackpot. This is the best track of the record. God, this thing's fantastic. The beat is smooth as butter, and it's easily the finest of the record to me. And what can I say about those lyrics? I may not be a lyrical mastermind, considering some of the previous songs almost made my brain divide itself. But dude, it's a song about a girl with a bad breath. How can you not find this thing hilarious? Also, correct me if I'm wrong, but apparently Lifesaver is an American candy, and considering the context, it can be used to unstink the breath? If so, that is more points in favor of the song. Absolutely love it. Remember what I said last song about some tracks dividing my brain? This is one of them. The beat, in my view, is and I feel like all the magic of the song is on the lyrics. I'm seeing some really interesting parts in here. And also a part that particularly stood out to me was this crack-a-lack, holla-back, clack-clack, whoop-black. And maybe I need to spend a little more time with the song. Because it's the way it is right now, I don't really have many thoughts on it. When I listened to the song for the first time, I thought it was Busta Rhymes rapping here. That's all I really have to say besides the fact that I like it. Positive highlight meteor, go! Man, this song must be the most serious moment of the album. Talks about police corruption and war in a very intense way. This with the fact that it has one of the best beats of the record, and the vocal sample is a perfect complement to the whole thing. It's a hella great track. Especially the second verse, that is one of my favorite verses of the entire album. So Doom was cucked by Doom? Huh.
Trust nobody, not even yourself.
Remember what I said about the song Curls? So, that applies to the song, but instead of being during the evening, it's like during the afternoon. But that applies to the beats. Imagine the reaction of the driver listening to those lyrics. It's certainly a chill song, but is it one that I will return to? Probably not. Out of the tracks with lyrics, this is easily my least favorite. I think the vocals of the lady in the song are a bit underwhelming, and the song doesn't really have much going on to me. It's not a negative highlight, because I do feel a bit of the appeal, I'm just not really interested in it. And there we go, my favorite instrumental song of the record. And again, I keep wondering how the track would be if there was vocals in it. But for this case, it's much less of a problem, considering this is one of my favorite beats of the entire album. Hence, a positive highlight it is. This song has the reputation of being the best of the album. Rightfully deserved, this is fantastic. Up, here comes the positive highlight meteor again. Good.
This is beautiful.
Jesus Christ, what is that beat? I gotta give so much respect to Madlib because this is easily one of the most hypnotizing lyrics I've ever heard. The lyrics are still pretty mind-breaking. All I really got here is, don't mess with the villain, my name is in all caps, f**k you. Later I think I will try to dissect this song a little more and see if I can truly get something out of those lyrics. But even if I won't, it's fine. This song is still gargantually good. In a contrast to all caps more in-your-face beat, Great Day is a song with a much more chill style. The beat is mellow and jazzy, I won't compliment the flow because I think it's already subintended. And the lyrics? Hey, I did get this one. At least, I think so. Also, shout out to a psychiatrist, because that made my day. Goonie goo goo loony cuckoo. Aside from that one particular line, I'm kinda sad. I was expecting the last song to be one for the ages, and possibly the best of the record. But, in all honesty, I wasn't totally mind blown by it. Don't get me wrong, Doom's great here. His flow is just fantastic as always. But man, that beat really didn't grab me. I'm not a fan of those loud, high-pitched sounding beats. I think they take away from the song. So for that reason, this is not really a song that I will come back to very often. Besides that, it's all good. And Doom really proves his words in here. Jesus Christ, that album was intense. It was like riding a roller coaster on fire, underwater, upside down. In other words, of course I love this thing. Some of the best rap songs I've ever heard are present here. But I will be honest, I think in some points of this thing I couldn't totally feel the song. Generally because of the beats. Because Doom's flow in this thing is flawless. And I feel like I'm saying the floor is made out of floor by telling this. The only thing I kinda upset is actually about myself. Because the lyrics here are extremely complex. And my English is not the best, it's kinda rusty, you know. I mean, I try, you can clearly see I try, but I feel like I need to have a better notion of vocabulary to fully appreciate the lyrics Doom writes. And this will happen with time. In like 1 or 2 years, I'm pretty sure the score will be much higher for this album. But for now, my personal score to this record is 89% superb. I know, it's not the highest I could have given, but it's not really low. And if it's 100% to you, good. I'm happy you enjoy it. But maybe to me, it needs a little bit of time.